Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another absolute banger. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how I did $80,000 in a single month with branded dropshipping. So you can literally just copy paste this Q4. And in this video, we're going to cover the 4-part step-by-step process to launching an 80K per month branded dropshipping store this Q4. Let's not waste any time and get straight into the video. Make sure you stick around until the end so that you can implement the step-by-step process, learn it, understand it, and make some serious money this Q4. Now, before we get started, as always, first link in the description is going to take you to my complete masterclass, one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and thousands of dollars worth of free paid tools. So if that interests you, click the link in the description below. The price is going up on God Tier Ecom on the 20th. So if you're interested in getting started, you can view that link and lock in the lowest price it'll ever be. All right, let's get into the video. So step one in the 4-part step-by-step process is, of course, finding the product. Now, there's several ways to do this, and I have dedicated YouTube videos purely for product research, so I won't get into the exact specifics in this video, but just know that there's several different ways to do this, and there are a couple of niches that I really like. Skincare, beauty, makeup, pain relief. These are niches that are never going away, have existed long before dropshipping. People always want better skin, always want to look better, always want to feel better, always want to get rid of pain. So those are evergreen niches, and new products are constantly popping up. Now, there are other niches that work. So fitness, pets, fashion, home decor, things that don't necessarily solve a problem in a logical sense, but you can still build branded dropshipping stores out of. So just because I personally like skincare, beauty, makeup, and pain relief does not mean that these other niches are less valuable or maybe work less. It's just, this is what I prefer, but I don't want you guys to think that you can only go after these specific niches, okay? You don't need to do the 10th posture corrector store in the world, right? If you find some home decor items that you think you can really brand and make some awesome creative around, then go for that as well. So really quick, a example of what a non-problem solving store looks like are these guys called Arcticture. Now, these guys have literally been around for as long as I've been dropshipping. So as far back as like 2018, I want to say, I can remember these guys having ads, and they make viral ad content, and they do like 6 figures, multi 6 figures per month, selling lamps, home decor, wall panels, things like that. So you don't always need a problem solving product or to be selling the next, skincare device. Like, these guys took awesome high quality images from AliExpress. And that's another good thing with furniture, home decor, and some of these other niches is generally the asset quality on AliExpress is really high quality. So that way you can build something that looks really branded without having to shoot your own content. And so don't close yourself off to home decor or some of these other niches. So this is just one example of a dropshipping brand. And then a problem solving example, classic I always go to, is a company called Nude. They sell hair removal devices, and I really like a lot of their stores, and they look really well put together. Now, finding the actual products, I have 2 main methods that I'm using currently. The ad library keyword method. So I have a separate video entirely on this, but essentially you look in ad library, you enter keywords and phrases related to the types of products and niches that you want to see. So if I want to see a back pain product, I might type in get rid of back pain, and Meta's going to show me all of the ads that are both active and inactive that have run on the platform that contain that phrase. And it's more likely, or it's really likely, that if you enter a specific phrase and ads show up with that specific phrase, you're going to see products that are delivering on that phrase. So that's the first method. And the second method is using tools like PP ads. Very simply, you want to use a tool like this to speed up the research process. And the way I use this is basically just setting the filters to really high engagement and then shortening the time horizon. So that way I can see what things are getting a lot of engagement in a short amount of time. And that usually means that they are scaling up really quickly, or there's some really strong momentum behind a product. Now, my personal product research criteria, again, I have separate videos on this on my channel, but to give you a kind of high level overview, I personally like to go after things that are problem solving, that have a passionate fan base, so like pets or fashion, something with an easily identifiable target audience, meaning I know exactly who this is for at first glance, something that is generally easy to ship, something that I can sell for a 3x markup, and then typically under $50 on AliExpress. The reason for that is because when we're dropshipping, we are still playing in the space of impulse purchases. So you can go after higher price point products, like if you want to sell couches and things like that, but you're going to need to spend a lot more in the initial stages on ad testing. Like if you sell a $500 couch, you could typically spend, and it costs you $100 on AliExpress, you could spend up to $400 before you get a purchase and still be profitable. And so you're going to have to be leaving your ad sets on and your campaigns on for a minimum of like $400 at a time, which is just not ideal, especially if you're on a low budget. So I like under $50 on AliExpress, which keeps my sale price somewhere around $100, $150 at max. Now, some secondary criteria that I like. So something that, and these are criteria that can be bonuses, but you don't necessarily need. So something that's a currently trending topic, something with currently trending ads, something that's a current trend within the niche. So sometimes a specific product with a new mechanism might take off in the niche. Something with wow factor, so something that just kind of blows you away in the creative, or something that has like a really visually appealing result. So think about like, if you ever seen those videos with like people popping their blackheads, very visually appealing, and something like that works really well on paid ads. So this is just my personal product research criteria at a glance. Again, more in-depth videos on the channel, but these are the things that I generally look out for. So that takes us into step 2 once we've actually found the product. And step 2 is going to be building the store. So once you have a product, you actually need a place to sell the product. So what you want to do is build your store around the niche, and then this way you can test multiple products within one store. So you build the niche store, and then you find the winning solo product. And as you're testing products, and once you find one that actually works, you can then expand with new products within the same niche. So you want to start kind of general and then test very specific things within the niche. And once you find one that works, you can expand horizontally with new products within the niche. Now, every one product brand usually sells 1 to 2 additional products alongside their main hero. And as you're testing, leave products up within the niche up on your site, and that helps to make the site feel alive. Like very rarely do sites only really sell like one product. They usually have at least a couple different variants, a couple different SKUs, or maybe a couple of like free gifts, right? And again, the reason why we do this around the niche is we're going after something that looks really branded. And just from a practicality standpoint, building a one product store for every single product you want to test is just really impractical and really time consuming, and it's not worth it. On the flip side, building a general store that doesn't have a branded feel is kind of shooting yourself in the foot to all the time that you're putting in to test these products, because just don't sell in a general store. Like general stores just look like shit. You can, obviously there are people that are selling well in them. It's just you're doing yourself a disservice by not creating this branded store. So what do we mean by when we say a branded store? Really just means a couple of things, right? So cohesive color scheme, something that matches the product ideally. You want clean, modern fonts, something that's easy to navigate, no misspellings, clear policies, a well-formatted product page. Again, separate videos like that, about that on the channel. And something that's underrated is just having like some faces, even without the product. So even if you take some stock footage and you remove the background and put your store's color background on it, most people aren't going to be able to tell or even be thinking that, oh, this person's not even like holding the product. They're just going to see a face and it's going to feel really branded. And seeing faces on the site helps to, again, make it feel alive and make it feel more trustworthy. So have a cohesive color scheme. And ideally, you also have a name that is well suited to the niche as well. So here's an example branded store for skincare. So this is a brand called SoloWave. As you can see, very cohesive color scheme. All the colors go together. They have lots of faces all over the place. They have an easy navigation bar. They've got social proof. They've got these press mentions down here and a link to the product. And then even for something as like general as a Apple Watch band, you can still make something that feels really cohesive. So this is an Apple Watch band brand that sells Apple Watch bands, and they just have a really cohesive color scheme, easy to navigate menu, and overall just feels really trustworthy. And that's the main thing with the branded store, is you're building something that's really trustworthy. And that goes a long way, especially if you're a no-name advertiser trying to sell products to people who have never heard of you. So build the store, niche store, and then test multiple products within the niche. Once you've actually built the store, then you can move on to step 3, which is making the creatives. Now, you can either make the creatives yourself or you can hire someone on Fiverr to do it for you. Depending on your resources, you can go either way. In the beginning, don't focus so heavily on quality of creative. And when I say quality, I mean quality in terms of having all your own content. Especially when you're dropshipping, you are at a massive disadvantage because you don't have any content that's yours. So focus on getting the message across. Focus on communicating the value proposition of the product, the benefits of the product. Focus on grabbing people's attention with a really strong hook, agitating the problem that your product solves, and then showing them the solution. Product market fit is going to have a much higher impact than creative at this stage, right? And that is exactly why you can rip other people's creatives and get sales, is because the product market fit is so strong. And in these beginning stages, when you don't have your own content, Product market fit is going to carry the success of your product initially way more than a strong creative will. You obviously want to have strong creative, but when it comes to in the beginning stages, what matters more? Having strong product market fit is way more important than having a good creative. So keep it really simple, right? So you can make 1 to 2 very simple UGC video ads, follow a very tried and true framework: hook, problem, solution, benefits, call to action. Again, literally my last video was exactly on how to structure these UGC video ads, but you can create 1 to 2 simple ones of those, going after the 2 most common pain points and problems that your product solves. Alternatively, one thing that's super underutilized is image ads. So image ads are great for this branded dropshipping approach because you can iterate and you can create them really, really easy, and you can tackle a lot of different pain points. You can do before and after, you can do features point out, you can do lifestyle images. I'll link below this video separate videos by other creators that cover image ads in depth. But image ads, especially if you're testing on Meta, are super underrated, and you can scale and test a product successfully with image ads. And I actually recommend you do that, especially when you're testing multiple products, because it's just way faster. I mean, you can literally copy paste these formats across like 5 products in like 20 minutes. So that's your next step, is to then make the creatives. And the fourth and final step is to then launch the testing campaign. Now, the purpose of our testing campaign is literally just to validate the product, right? We're just trying to see if we have a product, if we have product market fit, and we have something that people actually want. And it's important to not get emotionally tied to your product and stick to your KPIs, because we're looking for products that have strong momentum and buying behavior right out of the gate. Now, it is possible to make products that work, or products work that don't have momentum in the beginning, but it is much harder and more time consuming. Now, if you've been on the channel for a while, you know I say like my goal in testing is usually just to get to break even, because we can optimize out of that. But especially if you're a beginner on low budget, it is really time consuming to optimize for profitability. And often you don't have the content, you don't have the assets, and sometimes you just don't have the skills to be able to optimize out of break even scenarios. So it is possible to optimize out of break even, but especially in the beginning when you don't have anything that's your own, putting your time and money behind products that have such strong demand in PMF, that sell even despite bad creative and bad assets, that's what you want to be doing, right? Testing a product and having something that's winning is like butter. Like, you test it and you're profitable within the first few $100. And again, it's possible to do that with products that don't have momentum in the beginning, but it's much harder and much more time consuming. And often the delta or the opportunity cost of, like, if you're trying to test a product that's kind of break even, slight loss, and then optimizing it for profitability, you're usually way better off just testing a completely brand new product and getting something that is going to have much more momentum. So in terms of the actual testing campaign setup that I use, this is the exact CBO campaign setup that I'm using right now. So you launch a CBO campaign with all of your ads, and then you group images in one ad set and videos in another. So if you have both, keep them in separate ad sets. Now, we have our CBO campaign, optimizing for purchases and conversions. Then we have 2 ad sets. If you only have videos, then you only do videos. If you only have images, then you only do images, but keep them separate. We do a broad audience, and we're doing either the Big 4 or EU, depending on where you want to sell to. And that is literally the structure. CBO testing campaign, 1 ad set with all your ads. If you have images and videos, do separate ad sets for both. Very simple. Now, in terms of the actual management and what to look for in the KPIs on testing, day 1, you are launching your campaign, and within the first $10, you can tell right away if your creatives suck. And if your CPC is above $3 within the first $10, you need to retest with new ads right out of the gate. We need to be very protective of our budget, and there's no point in spending money. You think about it, like if you spent $10 and you got $3 cost per click, you're realistically getting like 3 people to the website. That efficiency is just never going to back out for you at scale, and you're better off just retesting with some new ads. So scrap the entire campaign and retest with some new creatives, and shoot for under $3 CPC. Especially in the Big 4, you really realistically want to be under $2. Now, let's say you hit that $10 checkpoint. Now you're letting the campaign go for the first $100. Now, a couple of different scenarios, right? If you have no purchases within the first $100, just kill it. Move on to the next product. And people are going to say, that seems a little bit early. And I would say, yes, it absolutely is early. But in the name of trying to find something that works as efficiently, as quickly as possible, we do have to make some early kills. And that means closing the door on some potential performance. Now, personally, every product that I've had success with has purchases within the first $100. So just looking from past experience, I don't think it's worth it within the first $100 if you have no purchases, especially if you have no add to carts or initiate checkouts. Like, kill that sucker right away. Now, if you have your purchases but not profitable, that's when you want to let it spend another $100 because there's proof of some buying intent. And if you have purchases and you are profitable, then you obviously want to leave that running as is. Now, let's say you go another $100. You're going to assess again. If you have purchases and you're not profitable, then you are going to pause all the ads except the best performer and let it spend another $100. Now, if you have purchases and you're profitable again, so you have 2 days of more profit, you're going to just let that campaign spend another $100. Now, if you pause all ads except the best performer and you let it spend another $100 and you get purchases, but you're still not profitable, I personally would kill the product and move on to a new one. Depending on how unprofitable you are, like if you're way unprofitable, like you're only getting like 1 to 2 conversions, kill that. If you are closer to break even, then that's discretionary if you want to leave that on and keep testing. If you're break even, like slightly profitable, then you can test new creatives and new offers to get into profitability. But if you're only like 1 to 2 purchases, 0 point, below a 1 ROAS, just kill and move on. Now, let's say you pause all the ads except the best performer and you let it spend another $100 and you do get purchases and you're profitable. Now you want to scale your best ads. Because what you have proof of is that you actually do have a high performing ad and you now have proof of profitability. So you want to pause all your ads and only scale the best ones. And typically that's going to get you into profitability just by making that decision. Now, let's say you're on this side and you've got now 2 days of profitable purchases. If you have on that third day, purchases and you're not profitable, check your maximum timeline. And if you are profitable, you want to scale your best ads. So exact same scenario here. You want to take your top performing creatives from the initial test, throw them into one ad set inside that same CBO campaign and start scaling. Now, if you check the maximum timeline and you're not profitable, that means you probably had a really, really bad day, especially if you have two days of profitability here and you let it spend another campaign and you check the maximum timeline and you're not profitable. I would honestly just kill the product or move on. Or actually, I would either kill the product and move on, or you can also scale your best ads. So it's kind of discretionary, but if you have 2 days of profitability and one really, really bad day, you can either kill the product or you can do the same method of just scaling your best ads. I would probably recommend, if you are more risk tolerant, to scale your best ads and give that a shot. But if you're someone who is really tight on budget, kill and move on. Now, if you have 3 days of profitability, so if you're here, purchases profitable, you let it spend another 100 and you're still profitable, scale the entire campaign. Don't go through the process of scaling your best ads. Within that campaign, start going 20% every single freaking day. And I'm going to add that here. When I say scale, I'm going to say 20% plus every good day, just like that. And again, I have separate videos on scaling, so make sure you check those out. I'll link them in the description below. But just know, if you have a testing campaign and after $300 you have purchases and you are profitable, you need to start scaling ASAP. So many people get caught up on how many ad sets do I need or what's the best scaling method. And it's like, dude, just scale the whole freaking campaign if you are profitable. It is very rare to be profitable after 3 days of testing and a $100 budget. So if you are profitable, you need to be scaling that up. All right, so that is the 4-step process to launching an 80K per month branded dropshipping store this Q4. Let's do a quick recap of everything that we talked about. So we got step 1, which is just finding the product. And there's several ways to do this. I have separate videos on my channel for how, and keeping an eye out for my personal product research criteria. So step 1 is just finding that product. Step 2 is building the store. We start with a niche store. And within that niche store, that gives us flexibility to test multiple products. We then find the winning solo product by doing testing, and then we're going to expand with new products within the same niche. We want to keep a cohesive color scheme, clean modern fonts, something that's easy to navigate, don't have any misspellings, have clear policies, and try to incorporate faces all over the website as well, even if they don't have the product. Once you build the store, we're then going to make the creatives. Again, keep it simple here. You want to move as quickly as possible. Make 1 to 2 simple UGC video ads, and you can follow this framework here: hook, problem, solution, benefits, call to action. And alternatively, you can also test using image ads. Again, I'm going to have some resources linked below for the best image ad formats, but they're really, really easy to create. Once you actually have the creatives, you then are going to launch the creatives so you can start getting traffic and testing your product. as we talked about, we do a 1 CBO campaign structure. We separate image and video ads into their own ad set. If you only have one creative type, then you're going to do one ad set, and you're going to follow this scaling chart. I'm going to try and get the whole thing on screen just like that so you can screenshot and use this in your testing. But you're going to follow this flow chart to the best of your ability. And this is going to get you out of the testing phase. And once you're in the scaling phase, you can watch my separate scaling video of how to do that. But this is literally the decision-making chart that you need to follow when you're testing to successfully move products from testing into scaling. All right, guys, that is going to do it for this video. And that is the four-part step-by-step process to launching an 80K per month branded dropshipping store this Q4. If you want to get access to my complete Shopify dropshipping course and masterclass, one-on-one coaching with myself, weekly group coaching with multiple Q&As per week, thousands of dollars worth of free paid tools, and an awesome community where you can get 24/7 live feedback from myself and other community members who are doing the same thing as you, then make sure you hit the first link in the description. Hope you got a ton of value out of this video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.